Yemen is a country being torn apart by conflict, severe economic decline, collapsing public services, loss of livelihoods, and other challenges, both chronic and acute. Those are the words of Jamie McGoldrick, the UN's former humanitarian coordinator in Yemen. They summarize the state of emergency which was declared in 2015. At that time, a system-wide response was mobilized to provide humanitarian assistance in the country. By 2018, 120 humanitarian organizations would be coordinating a multi-party response to meet the most basic needs of 80% of Yemen's population.
In the last 4 years, children and women have been hit the hardest, including my mother, my sisters. They have lost 4 years of their life. I felt like Yemen is going through a difficult time and needs people who are really committed to make a change happen in Yemen.
Often, the first to respond are not international agencies, but locals who themselves have been impacted by the crisis. In Yemen alone, local groups outnumber international aid organizations 3 to 1.
There is a growing number of local NGOs who are trying hard to respond to the crisis in Yemen without having the roadmap or the tactics or the right approach to respond. So they respond in a random way, which takes more time and more resources.
When an emergency is declared in any country, there are 2 key issues at play. How can so many diverse organizations mobilize quickly in an extremely unstable environment? And how are local groups included in a system directed largely by international agencies? Since 2005, the world humanitarian community has implemented the cluster approach, which provides a platform for organizations to communicate and coordinate together. A cluster is a group of humanitarian organizations working in the same area of action. Each is led by a different UN agency. In Yemen, where there are several clusters activated, the 4 largest are protection, water sanitation and hygiene, food security, and health.
Some of the international NGOs have been for over than 70 years in the field of responding to natural disaster or man-made disaster.
While they do not have the same experience responding internationally, local organizations are more familiar with the local context, as they themselves are rooted in the same social systems. International aid organizations are familiar with coordination systems, scaling up quickly, and accessing additional funding. Given the need for local NGOs to scale up and coordinate within the system, steps are being taken to enable more effective collaboration.
Yemeni local NGOs will be in a better place if there is more guidance and more support given to these local NGOs in the future.
More systems are being put in place to provide support to local groups. Country-based pooled funds can be allocated directly to the best-positioned actors, including local groups. In 2018, the Yemen Humanitarian Fund was established and strategic allocations were made to cover first-line response gaps, with a dedicated funding window to support local frontline responders. To learn more about the coordination mechanisms and funding structures available to responders, consider taking Building a Better Response.